Welcome again to our next lesson for today. So we have done with cell division, and we have looked at two types of cell division, that is mitotic and meiosis. Now today we want to look at the asexual reproduction. Now in this topic, in this lesson, at the end of it you should be able to define asexual reproduction, advantages of sexual reproduction and its disadvantages, and types of reproduction in both plants and animals, and you will be able to know different types of plants which undergoes asexual reproduction, both plants and animals. So we'll be discussing various asexual reproduction in different organisms. So at the end of it, you are able, or you are supposed to, you should be able to define asexual and also discuss various types of asexual reproduction. So let's dive deep and know what is an asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction, it is the production of offspring from a single organism without the fusion of gametes. So here there is no fusion of gametes. Remember, gametes are the sperms and ovum. So there is no fusion of gametes here. The offspring are identical to parents. The offspring are identical to parents. Remember, we have two types of reproduction. We have sexual reproduction, where there is fusion of gametes, and asexual reproduction, there is no fusion of what? There is no fusion of gametes. So in our definition, we say that asexual reproduction, it is the production of offspring from a single organism without the fusion of gametes. The offspring are identical to parents. The offspring looks like the parents. Now, advantages of asexual reproduction: one is good qualities from the parents are retained in the offspring without any variation. So when the parent alikuwa na parents, kama parents yake alikuwa na good qualities, then that good qualities is actually transferred to where? To the offspring without any variation. Number two, we have the plants mature faster than those produced by sexual means. So there is faster maturity in asexual reproduction. Number three, we have it does not depend on process such as pollination, fertilization, and dispersals of fruits and seeds. So here there is no what? There is no dependency on pollination, fertilization, or dispersals of fruits. It can do it without those processes. Asexual reproduction can occur without pollination, without fertilization, and dispersals of fruits. So number four, advantage of sexual reproduction is what? The new plants are able to obtain nourishment from their parent plants, hence are able to survive temporarily under unsuitable conditions. So remember, a young offspring cannot do what? Cannot obtain its own food directly. Now, asexual reproduction, because there is no fusion, the offspring is produced without fusion. Mostly, the organisms depends on their parents for nutrients, for nourishment. Number five, it gives rise to dense dumps of plants which do not encourage competitors. So in asexual reproduction, there is no what? There is no competition. So anything with advantage must also have as what? Is disadvantage. Now let's look at disadvantage of asexual reproduction. One, the new offspring can retain undesirable qualities from the parents. The same way good qualities are transferred from parents to offspring, or the same way good qualities are retained in the offspring, The same way bad, the same way the undesirable qualities can also be what? Can also be retained. So there is no variations, hence the offspring may not be able to withstand changing environmental condition because there is no what? There is no variation. Number 3, it gradually reduces the strength and vigor of the succeeding generation. So the next generation will not have what? Its strength of survival will be what? Will be reducing. Number 4, last, it brings about overcrowding and competition due to faster growth and development. Remember, another advantage here again, we say it does not depend on what? On processes such as pollination and fertilization. But mostly what brings this competition is this one, dispersals of fruits and seeds. Now, because there is no seeds dispersals, there will be a lot of what? Overcrowding, some around the what? Around the parental plant. So they will be starting what? Competing from what? Competing due to their fast growth. They grow faster. We have types of asexual reproduction. Number 1 is binary fusion. So we have binary fusion in amoeba. Yeah, let's look at binary fusion. Let's look at binary fusion. So the word binary means 2 and fission means splitting. So binary means 2. Remember, binary means 2. Then fission is different from fusion. Fusion with the FU is different with FI. So fission is splitting. Now it is the simplest form of asexual reproduction. It involves the splitting of the original cells into 2 similar daughter cells. The fission occurs when the organism attains a maximum size. So that means binary fusion or splitting cannot occur when organism has not attained what? Has not attained a maximum size. Binary fusion involves division of nucleus, that is karyogamy, and cytoplasmic division, that is cytogamy, e.g. amoeba, plasmodium and bacteria. So binary fusion basically inapatikana wapi? Inapatikana kwa amoeba ama plasmodium and bacteria. That's where we find what? That's where we find binary fusion. Let's look at binary fusion. Binary fusion in amoeba. The amoeba reproduce mainly through binary fusion. So this is the only way amoeba can do what? Can produce. So the nucleus divide into 2 daughter cells. The nucleus divide into two daughter cells through mitosis and is soon followed by division of the cytoplasm. A cell membrane is finally formed around each of the cells. The 2 cells are identical and have the same number of chromosomes as the parent amoeba. You can remember the stages of mitosis. We have interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, then lastly we have telophase. So amoeba basically goes through all those mitosis stages so that it can do what? So that it can have offspring. So binary fusion in amoeba. We have parent amoeba, elongation of nucleus. You can see the nucleus elongate. The nucleus is a bit cycle, so it elongates here. Now divisions of the nucleus and the cytoplasm. It divides here, divides here. And then we have the two daughter cells. Can you see that? Two daughter cells. So amoeba is capable of dividing once every 30 minutes. So this occurs after every 30 minutes. The rapid cell division leads to a rapid increase in the population of amoeba. So just imagine after every 30 minutes, amoeba divides. After every 30 minutes, amoeba divides. So that leads to what? The increase in the population of amoeba. So we have done with binary fission. So binary fission basically is found where? In amoeba, plasmodium. Binary fission is found in amoeba, plasmodium, and bacteria. So those are the organisms that experience. Those are organisms that undergoes binary fission. So don't forget about plasmodium and bacteria. Then lastly we have amoeba. Don't forget that they undergo binary fission. So again we have the spore formation. Spores are small single cell reproductive cells capable of giving rise to an individual. They are produced by fungi. So spores are produced by what? By fungi. Underline the word fungi. Bacteria and protozoa. So that means there are some bacteria that undergo spore formation. Are you together? There are some organisms that undergo spore formation. Now, let us look at spore formation in rhizopus. So rhizopus is a saprophytic fungi which grows on substrate like bread, rotting fruits, and other decaying organic matter. So the vegetative body is called a mycelium. So the vegetative body is called what? Mycelium, which consists of many branched threads called hypha. What is hypha? Hypha iko wapi? So horizontal hypha are called stolons. So these are the horizontals. So these basically are called what? Hypha. Then the horizontal one is called the stolon. So you can see the stolon is here. Can you make sure you familiarize yourself with this diagram of the spore? So this is where I call this hypha. Then this one the stolon, the horizontal hypha. So hypha which grows vertically are called the sporangium force. So these are the sporangiophores. Are you seeing this? So basically these things which look like stem, they are called what? Hypha. But the horizontal one is called stolon. But the vertical one is called sporangiophores. The horizontal one is called sporangiophores. So the tips of these uprights are for hypha swell up to form the sporangium. Spores being bare structure. So this is where the sporangium is where the spores is being what? Is what bear the sporangium. The hypha are anchored in a substratum by a delicate outgrowth known as rhizoid. So these are the rhizoids. They act like what? They act as roots. They act as roots. roots. So these are the roots used for anchorage, absorb nutrients and minerals from the soil, from the food substrate. So inside the sporangium, the nuclear divides mitotically, producing a daughter cell, a daughter nuclear that contain haploid number of chromosomes. So the daughter nuclei develop into a spores by the incorporation of cytoplasm around each nucleus and the wall around the cytoplasm. So the sporangium contains very many spores. As it matures and ripens, it turns into black in color. So when fully mature, the sporangium walls burst and release the spores, which are dispersed to restart a fresh generation of growth and development. So this one, they have matured now. They are released now to start what? To start a new life. So that's how spore formation is formed. Then you have spore dispersed mainly by wind, insect, or mechanically by being scattered by animals. Let's look at the third types of asexual reproduction, that is budding in yeast. I know all of us knows yeast. What is yeast? So it's a form of asexual reproduction in which a new individual is produced as an outgrowth, bud of the parent, and is later released as a self-supporting identical copy of the parent. So yeast is a single-celled organism in the kingdom fungi. So yeast belongs to what? This organism in kingdom fungi. The cell is made up of a thin cell wall which encloses the cytoplasm containing a vacuole. So this is the thin wall. Can you see that thin wall? This round thing, that is the thin cell wall. You have the nucleus here, glycogen, granules. You have the cytoplasm. Then the sharp vacuole. So is on the contain what? Contain that. So the yeast cell under favorable conditions, i.e. plenty of sugar, moisture, and oxygen, reproduce asexually by budding. Produced by budding. Each new individual is produced as an outgrowth. So individual grows as an outgrowth.